Skol Nation, stop scrolling right now. U.S. Bank Stadium just got rocked by breaking news, and one fact is already carved in stone. Concussion protocol. J.J. McCarthy's availability for Seattle is hanging by a thread. The trenches are bleeding with 2 starters down, and an ESPN insider just dropped a Daniel Jones reunion bomb that has the entire NFC North watching. Kevin O'Connell spoke to the media on November 26th, and here's the first payoff. McCarthy practiced in limited capacity, but Diana Rossini reports he's not expected to play. If you SQL louder than you breathe and want the Packers drowning in regret, hit like and subscribe right now. We start with the quarterback controversy that has Minneapolis divided. Stay locked. There's a double cliffhanger at the end that involves Indianapolis. Closed-door evaluation. Medical staff circling, one question echoing through Winter Park. Will he clear protocol in time? The player? The second-year quarterback who is supposed to save this franchise. The name? J.J. McCarthy. And here's why this changes everything. McCarthy entered concussion protocol after Minnesota's brutal 23-6 loss to Green Bay on November 23rd, and the clock is ticking towards Sunday's must-win game against Seattle. Head coach Kevin O'Connell revealed on November 26th that McCarthy cleared enough of the protocol to participate in limited capacity. But listen to what he said next. We're talking about his head, not a hand or an ankle. This is about McCarthy's brain, and O'Connell made it clear the medical team has final say. Translation: even if McCarthy feels ready, the Vikings might hold him out. Smart move or playoff desperation? You decide. But here's the brutal context. McCarthy went 12 for 19 for just 87 yards against the Packers, threw 2 picks and got sacked 5 times. That's not just a bad game, that's a collapse. National outlets are shredding him, and former NFL coach Bruce Arians delivered a blunt message on the Pat McAfee show on November 25th. Arians told McCarthy to ditch the alter ego, stop playing linebacker, and just be an accurate passer. Get rid of number 9, let JJ in there and play. That's a legend telling a young quarterback to relax. Then NBC Sports' Mike Florio piled on, saying McCarthy needs to take a step back because he's trying too hard and thinking too much. Florio believes McCarthy is stuck in a cycle he can't break. And honestly, the film doesn't lie. McCarthy looks like he's trying to win the Super Bowl on every single snap instead of just executing the play. This is a rumor, but sources close to the Vikings facility say the coaching staff is quietly considering giving undrafted rookie Max Brosmer the start even if McCarthy clears protocol. That's how serious this is. Do you think J.J. McCarthy should sit this one out and reset? Or does he need to play through adversity? Drop your take below. And if you believe the Vikings are making the right call by prioritizing his health over one game, smash that like button and let Packers fans know Minnesota won't rush their franchise quarterback. But as critical as that decision is, the next story cuts even deeper into the roster. Because while the quarterback room is uncertain, the trenches just lost 2 anchors. And Sunday's game might come down to who can protect their QB and stop the run. Wednesday practice, Thursday practice, 2 names missing from both. The concern? It's not skill positions, it's the foundation. The names? Left tackle Christian Darrisaw and left guard Donovan Jackson. And here's why this is a nightmare for Minnesota. The Vikings are 4-7, clinging to playoff life by a thread, and they're about to face Seattle without 2 starting offensive linemen. Darrisaw is dealing with knee and foot injuries, Jackson with an ankle issue, and both left Sunday's Packers game early. Missing practice on Wednesday is concerning. Missing Thursday too? That's a red alert. Kevin O'Connell's entire offensive system is built on time and rhythm, and if McCarthy or Brosmer doesn't have protection, it doesn't matter who's under center. Seattle's pass rush is hungry, and the Seahawks know blood is in the water. But wait, there's more. Edge rusher Jonathan Greenard has been limited in practice both days after missing the last 2 games with a shoulder injury, and now Dallas Turner just appeared on the injury report with a hip issue. Turner has been Minnesota's defensive breakout star this season, and if he can't go full speed, Seattle's running game could feast. Kenneth Walker is questionable with a glute injury, but even if he sits, the Seahawks have weapons. The Vikings' defense has been solid, but losing Turner's explosiveness off the edge would be a massive blow. This is a rumor, but insiders say the Vikings training staff has been working around the clock to get Darrisaw and Jackson ready, even exploring painkiller options to get them on the field for at least limited snaps. That's how desperate the situation is. Here's the math. If Darrisaw and Jackson can't go, Minnesota will start backups against a Seahawks defense that ranks in the top 10 in sacks. The offensive line will be patchwork, the quarterback will be pressured, and the running game will be neutralized. That's a recipe for disaster. On the flip side, Justin Jefferson and Harrison Smith both got veteran rest days, which is smart management. Jefferson is the engine of this offense, and keeping him fresh for a playoff push is critical. Do you think the Vikings can win without Darrisaw and Jackson? Or is Sunday already a loss? Comment your prediction. And if you believe Minnesota's training staff can work miracles, hit like and remind Seahawks fans that the purple and gold don't quit. But as devastating as these injuries are, the next story might be the biggest twist of all. Because while the Vikings are fighting to stay alive in 2025, an ESPN insider just connected the dots on a move that could reshape 2026. 18 hours ago, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. One sentence that made the entire Vikings fan base stop. The possibility? A reunion. The player? Someone who wore purple and gold for less than 2 months in 2024. The name? Daniel Jones. And here's why this is massive. Jones signed a 1-year prove-it deal with the Indianapolis Colts after his stint as Sam Darnold's backup in Minnesota, and he's been a revelation. 69.1% completion rate, 2,840 yards, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and he leads the NFL in passing success rate at 52.6%. Add 159 rushing yards and 5 more scores on the ground, and you're looking at a legitimate starting quarterback. Fowler dropped the bomb. The Vikings really like Jones, and with J.J. McCarthy struggling, Minnesota might follow the Colts' blueprint from this past offseason. Bring in a veteran reclamation project to compete with McCarthy and potentially start, similar to Daniel Jones versus Anthony Richardson in Indy. That's not speculation, that's a roadmap. But here's the wrinkle. Jones isn't a backup anymore. He's the top free agent quarterback on the market, and the bidding war will be fierce. Indianapolis wants to keep him, other teams are circling. And the Vikings would need to offer serious money to bring him back. Fowler said Jones would be an ideal fit in Minnesota, where he backed up Darnold last season. But as the top free agent quarterback, he will score a sizable deal in Indianapolis or elsewhere. Translation? The Vikings missed their chance to lock him up cheap, and now they'll have to pay if they want him back. This is a rumor, but sources inside the Vikings front office say General Manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has been quietly monitoring Jones' performance all season, and there's legitimate internal discussion about making a run at him in 2026. The logic is simple. McCarthy needs competition, and Jones already knows the system. But here's the question. Does bringing back Daniel Jones send the message that the Vikings gave up on their first-round pick after one bad stretch? Or is it smart roster construction to have a proven veteran pushing a young quarterback? The McCarthy experiment hasn't gone as planned, and Fowler's report confirms what many suspected. Minnesota's 2026 strategy will be shaped by what happens in the final weeks of this season. If McCarthy can't turn it around, the Vikings will be aggressive in free agency. If he shows flashes, maybe they bring in a cheaper veteran. Either way, Daniel Jones' name is in the mix. Do you think the Vikings should go all in on Daniel Jones, or is that a betrayal of J.J. McCarthy? Drop your hottest take below. And if you believe Minnesota needs to stop being loyal and start being smart, hit like and let Colts fans know Danny Dimes might be coming home. But listen closely. Here's where the storm peaks. All 3 stories converge into one brutal truth. The Vikings are at a crossroads, and the next 72 hours will define their season and their future. 3 stories, one franchise at a breaking point. McCarthy in concussion protocol, the trenches bleeding with injuries, and a Daniel Jones reunion looming in the shadows. Minnesota doesn't fear chaos, Minnesota lives in it. This franchise just revealed its hand to the entire NFC North. We're not giving up on this season, but we're not married to one quarterback either. Let's break down what this means. If McCarthy sits against Seattle, the narrative becomes toxic. If he plays and struggles again, the Daniel Jones rumors become a reality. The injury situation is dire. Darisaw and Jackson missing practice means the offensive line is in crisis mode. Seattle is watching, and they know Minnesota is vulnerable. But here's the math. Minnesota is 4-7. The Vikings need to win at least 4 of their next 6 games to have a shot. That's a brutal ask. Here's what I need from Skol Nation. 1. Smash that like if you believe the Vikings are making the playoffs despite everything. 2. Drop a comment. Should Minnesota go all in on Daniel Jones in 2026 or ride with JJ McCarthy? 3. Subscribe and make Packers fans furious. But listen, here's the cliff. McCarthy's status will be decided in 48 hours. And the Packers just got healthier. If Minnesota loses to Seattle and Green Bay keeps winning, the North is over. Plus, Daniel Jones's agent has been contacted by 3 teams. And the Vikings are 1. Skol Nation, the battle is here. Subscribe and let's make the NFC North bleed purple.